All right, you ready, buddy?
I'm scared.
You, this is gonna be cute. All right. Hey guys, hello and welcome to VK Punk, your new source for wrestling entertainment. Um, I am Vincey Punk, and this is my son.
I'm Enzo Amore, punk.
And yeah, that's his real name. I'm not gonna get into the whole story, but it's not what you think. Um, Please go and hit the thumbs up button on the video. Go and hit the subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when everything new goes live. But before we get into anything else tonight, I would like to introduce you to our third personality here on VK Punk Wrestling. He'll be joining us remotely from halfway across the country, just a couple hours outside of Chicago. His name is AK Havok. Are you there, bud?
I'm here.
Oh, he's here. All right. So now everything is working. I know it took us a little while to actually get our third personality on air, but now hopefully with this video, everything should be rolling in a proper direction. So now, Havoc, we got you on here. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself? Uh,
Well, been a lot.
how long have you been interested in wrestling, and what's your history with professional wrestling as a whole?
Honestly, as long as I can remember, I've been a wrestling fan. And one phrase I heard a while back is, "You don't just become a wrestling fan; you're born a mark. You just find your home and stick to it, and then eventually you join a podcast and become a mark yourself,
Right, I guess.
like this
That's
guy."
where we're at.
And like
All
my
right.
first wrestling memory, I can honestly say, like, I remember sitting on my uncle's lap and my stepdad's lap, just watching random wrestling, like on Saturday mornings. On like, there were times where they would get the pay-per-views, but like my first memory where I remember sitting down and just watching wrestling and going, "Wow," was the Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth wedding.
Oh yeah, the match made in heaven. That was
And honestly, unlike people that were born and that we went to school with, my first crush wasn't Topanga from Boy Meets World. It wasn't Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell. It was Miss Elizabeth,
right.
hands
Mm.
down.
I actually was kind of into Scary Sherry back then, boy.
Well, that explains a lot about you, but hey, we'll be okay with that.
Yes.
All right, so why don't we get moving on to a little bit more? Tell me about your favorite wrestler currently. Who's your favorite performer?
Can
Current,
I say mine?
Currently, like WWE wise, it's hard to just pinpoint one. I've been a Punk fan since I discovered him in FCW before I even left the great state of Florida, and been following him since then. But you got Punk. I can say I'm a massive Drew fan, especially this current Drew. And you can't say anything bad about Seth. The dude is a solid worker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of those guys are my favorites, but glad you like them. We'll definitely have some stuff to talk about back and forth when stuff comes up. I used to be a huge Punk fan. When he first came to AEW, I was so excited that he came back that I bought all of his merchandise. But then he turned into, the brawl out Punk and just started taking on
Well,
everybody. Took on Tony Khan. He was making Tony Khan look like a stooge while Tony Khan was right next to him in the press
well, if you want to
conferences.
hear something funny, I got my boy into professional wrestling. Like showed him like all the old CM Punk stuff because he was in AEW. I bought his tickets to go to Collision because it was at the United Center. The whole ride there, he's excited in his new CM Punk shirt. I got my MJF shirt. We show up, we're going around the arena, and a random guy comes up to me and sees my boy and goes up and pats him on the back, and he's like, "Sucks, what happened, huh?" And me and him are like, "What are you talking about?" And he showed us the Twitter post when Tony Khan, the biggest mark of them all, goes, "I was threatened for my life as a billionaire and I fired CM Punk." And my boy's like, "Seriously? CM Punk just got fired?" I'm like, "That's bad luck." I blamed him for it because,
I think he
never.
deserved it. I mean, with all the stuff with the brawl out, all the Jack Perry stuff, and I mean, we all
But
know that
the
CM Punk
downside
isn't
was,
really this kind
though,
of guy.
well, here's the thing, though. The way they portrayed what happened in London, the Young Bucks messed up when they were like, "Here, we'll release the footage," and it came out going, "Oh wait, CM Punk was right. He was pushed first, and then he just put Perry into a chokehold." He
Well,
was hypocritical when he said when he said if you have a problem with Jack Perry, then there's something wrong with you. And then who does he choke out before he gets fired? Was Samoa Joe even backed CM Punk on what happened?
well,
So I'm
I
like
mean,
on the fence with what
I
happened
believe
because I
that
wasn't there.
that incident probably did go that way, and I mean, you know, maybe Punk wasn't at fault there, but the two press conferences where he just completely ran down the company and everybody in it. I mean, it was just like him during the final of his run in WWE. He was just trying to take down the product, and I just realized that hey, this is the kind of guy that does this kind of thing. So, but anyway,
Well, the way I see,
go ahead.
well, okay, the way I see the whole CM Punk with what happened with the end of WWE, AEW, and then back to WWE is, you know that old saying, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Sure.
I think CM Punk was like WWE's. He said it best. I love where I work. I just hate the guy in charge.
Right.
He went to AEW where he thought, hey, it's hunky dory. We're all buddy buddy. And then he goes there and he's working for a boss that's the complete polar opposite of Vince McMahon, where he lets the inmates run the asylum because there was that story of the promo between Hangman and Punk.
Yeah.
They had everything written down and everything, and then Hangman went to business for himself. That would never happen in WWE because Vince McMahon would rip him a new one.
Yeah, he definitely go
As
to
would
the bottom of
Triple
the
H.
card for a while.
So Tony Khan is way too lenient with the guys that he considers indie stars. And that's why I think CM Punk went there and was like, wait a minute, I'm used to structure.
Yeah, but
And
CM
I'm
Punk,
running.
he had it
He
made
made a
there.
mistake. He was getting paid good, but I think what happened was he had a vision and he had these young guys going, no, we're going to do this, this, and that. And CM Punk's like, yeah, but I've been to the $1 million wonderland. I know what makes money.
Right.
I mean, when you think about it, when CM Punk signed with AEW, that was their biggest sign. And they had the Bucks and they had Kenny Omega, but yet who was drawing them tickets? Punk's. Like Punk knows how to draw money.
Right.
If Khan would have listened to CM Punk a little bit more, I truly believe that AEW would have flourished a little bit better. But the buddies wouldn't be happy about it. There's a reason why Cody up and left AEW.
Right.
He up and left AEW for a reason.
No, and I mean, I guess so. But my point on bringing this conversation all the way back to the beginning is that I've never worn the AEW CM Punk shirts I got. Like they are just hanging up in my closet. I've never once wore them. Just have them. I mean, I'm sure they'll be worth money someday.
They will.
So what about old school wrestlers? Who's your favorite old school wrestler?
Honestly, like growing up, it was Hulk Hogan. I have a personal, like it was between Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. My personal reason I stopped being a Hogan fan is I was about 12 years old in the airport with my mom, and it was the Tampa airport. And my mom's like, hey, isn't that one of your favorite wrestling guys? That was roughly around the time that Hogan left WWF for WCW.
Right.
So I was going up and I'm like, oh my God, it really is Hulk Hogan. So my mom gave me a little notepad with her pen. I went to go ask for his autograph. He looks at me and he goes, and I'm not going to curse like I promised, but he looked at me and said, I don't have the effing time, grabbed his bag and power walked. And ever since then, I said, you know what? Macho Man is my favorite current wrestler. I even met Macho Man once. You remember my stepdad? We went to go get salt water. And we were in Sarasota and Macho Man was in his little house and I screamed, oh my God, it's Macho Man. And he called me over and we talked outside of his little fence.
Right.
So I'm like, you're obviously my favorite wrestler of all time.
Right. I'm a big Bret Hart fan. Bret Hart was always my favorite.
I love Bret. I love Bret. I was more of an Owen fan when it came to the Hart family.
Right. Enzo,
Owen was way
wrestler?
underutilized.
My favorite master is
Who?
Enzo Amore.
It's Enzo Amore.
Well, you can't teach that.
Yeah, you can't teach that. Yeah. All right.
I can't remember
Do
anything.
the little chicken dance.
That's not really my favorite,
The little chicken shuffle that Enzo Amore does.
Wait.
No,
Kevin Owens
it's
did
John
it better.
Cena.
Oh, he changed it. He said it's John Cena.
Oh, it's good old John Cena.
All right. Okay, so let's ask you one more question before we get into the proceeding of our video and all the stuff we have on the schedule today. We're going to be discussing a lot of WWE, easy for me to say, main roster product. As of the time that we're actually doing this and getting you involved and actually able to get you involved, we're only covering the WWE main roster at the moment. We'll break into other promotions and NXT and stuff like that later on. When we actually get a chance to get things moving more fluidly, I'm the producer, the editor, the sound guy, the host. I do a lot. So until we get everything in a more forward moving, we're just going to be talking about the WWE main roster. What's your opinion on the current main roster product? If you want to, feel free to go into any storylines or anything that you typically do like or don't like.
All right. Well, currently, like the product I can say is the most talented I think I've seen since the Ruthless Aggression era. But the thing is, like, I've also heard rumors with like supposedly morale is supposedly low backstage, and as much as I didn't want to believe it with Vince being gone and Triple H being in charge, seeing like clips from SmackDown and watching guys like LA Knight botch up a storm, and then the women's tag match was like botchamania. It's
Oh, I
like
love
is
LA
the
Knight.
like I look at it and go, the product is very good. Some of the stories I look at it and go, why? Like to me, it's like I think Damian Priest is a decent wrestler, but why they were trying to push him into like becoming the new Roman Reigns at one point, where they were shoving him down our throats, where it's like don't push someone that doesn't need that push that hard.
Well, sometimes,
Like
to touch on that, sometimes um, WWE will push a certain person of an ethnic background, like Puerto Rican, if they're going to Puerto Rico, or if, like I thought before he got released, I thought Giovanni Vinci was going to get a push. They had those vignettes for him and everything. That he was like the rich Italian guy with the sports cars and stuff. And then he like got rolled up in 2 seconds by Apollo Crews, and there was like,
twice.
yeah, and then he was gone. But
Well, if that's the case though, why didn't they do that with Drew? Like I truly believe Roman was a great champ, but if anyone was to earn the right to dethrone Roman, it should have been Drew in Scotland.
well, I agree with you, and I think that's why they had to make it such a dirty victory. Um, I think Roman was too strong to actually try to take the titles off of him. He was just still had too much left. Um, and I mean, not saying that Drew didn't have a lot, but Roman was a real powerhouse, and I mean, he still is. But at that point, you just probably wanted to make him strong, and of course, you got to make him beat, uh, Punk's title record because it all started before Punk was reintegrated into WWE.
It wasn't that they were trying to get it to where he beats Hogan's record. He already had Punk's record beat way before they got to Scotland. It was they were trying to get Roman to be better than Hogan because of all the allegations with Hogan. They're trying to push him down the card of rankings. That's why I know why they gave Drew the loss and let Roman keep the title is if you're going to have someone beat Hulk Hogan's record and it's not CM Punk, it should have been Roman because Roman was top heel for what 3 4 years.
I mean, it still is almost. I mean, he's at the top of the
Well, I
card.
think
He's not
he's more
really a heel
babyface
anymore.
now.
Yeah.
Heel.
He's a babyface with heel tendencies.
Yeah. But so I mean, I typically agree with you. I think the main roster, and you can't hit the table. The main roster. I mean, it is incredibly talented. I think it's hard to give all of the talent a proper push. I thought it was great to see Akira Tozawa get a little showcase against Gunther on Raw. I thought that was really
I
good.
thought he was going to get smashed. I thought he was going to get straight squashed. When he put up a fight, I'm like, oh, okay. I
That's
knew he
why
wasn't going to win.
the roster is so deep that even people who are really good are at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like Tozawa and Otis, I think they have a good future. I think they're a good program, but they just not made to look strong. They're like a comedy act. It's like R-Truth. He's never gonna win the world title. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, the dude was good in TNA.
Oh, Truth. He's amazing in WWE. All that little goofy stuff he does, man.
But
He's
what's crazy
hilarious.
though is when you think about it, I was watching old Raw like a few weeks ago, and I was watching a Raw from like '96 or '97, and there was our truth when he was K Quick, when he was Road Dog Jesse James, like his roadie after he stopped being Jeff
The
Jarrett's
roadie,
roadie.
yeah.
So he had his own guy called K Quick where he would rap with
Yeah, I
Jesse James. And
remember.
I'm like, and he still looks the same age. Like he has not aged one bit.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. We saw some old match with him as Ron the Truth Killings in TNA. And I was like, man, that guy looks like he looks like he never aged from this point, man.
Well, same with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The dude looked 85 in 1985, and he still looks 85 in 2025.
uh, all right. Well, so anyway, I'm glad you think the main roster product is good. That's why we're making the shows about it. I mean, to be honest with you, um, it's probably not the most exciting product because there's a lot about NXT, which we'll get to in a little bit about NXT really putting on some sick stuff right now. Um, but WWE is, of course, the most well known, and that's what we're going to start with until the channel gets rolling. Um, but today we're going to go through some current WWE news headlines and talk about some of the things wrestling related that have been in the dirt sheets and otherwise lately. Then we're going to do our predictions for the coming up Elimination Chamber Premium Live event this Saturday, and the winner of that prediction contest will be the channel's first champion. And today it's just going to be me and you, buddy, in a straight up face off for the championship between you
I'm so
and
sorry.
me.
Can it be me also?
Oh, are you gonna give predictions? Oh, I don't have a pen. Oh, that's okay. I can probably write it down somewhere. I don't know.
Can I sew my belt?
Your belt has been showed on screen plenty of times, bud. All right, so just hang tight. Okay. Oh, you know what? Oh, I take that back. Casey, however, not with us today, has sent me her predictions. So it will be a triple threat. Fatal four way if we include this little guy right here.
Please?
Well, I mean, you're not going to really know anything. You're just going to pick and guess somebody. It'd be funny if he won, though.
Please? Please?
That would be hilarious.
Please?
Okay.
Yay!
Enzo,
I'm not gonna make a bet because the last time I made a bet with you and I ended up losing, I ended up running across your neighborhood in a not very good position. So I don't feel like making
made
a
our
bet against
neighbor
him.
really mad.
And probably a lot of therapy, whatever.
All right. So speaking of championships and title, our channel has commissioned our own belt, and of course, is made by our lovely sponsor, Capco Championship Belts. Um, we have commissioned a belt from them that they are making a custom belt for us. If you see our Facebook page, the design is actually the banner on our Facebook page. I'm sure you've seen plenty of the other belts that we've had. This is Enzo's belt. He wanted to show it to you. We've showed it plenty of other times, but I had that one made for him. Capco Championship Belts took all my ideas about the colored belt and everything and put them to
Blue's my
life.
favorite color.
It is. Okay. But they will be making our belt. You'll see more. I know we haven't really rearranged the set lately. We got all the same stuff up, but we got at least 2 more titles and a whole bunch of other paraphernalia that Capco has made for us that we're going to show live in our future videos. You can get the contact information for Capco on our final graphics and the credits of our video. Okay, so all in all, welcome to our very first episode of VK Punk Wrestling Predictions, where we will all give predictions for a small 4-match card that is the Elimination Chamber this Saturday. Because the card is so short, we will also be asking a few questions that are also worth points. So there's more than just 4 predictions involved to become our channel's first champion, VK Punk Wrestling. We the ones for wrestling content. Okay. First, let's get into some of these headlines. So there seems to be, I don't, do you listen to like news updates, like dirt sheets and stuff like that? Sportskeeda, Figure Four Online.
The podcast I listen to, like they have like a news section where they'll talk about stuff, and what you're about to discuss, they actually discussed on the current episode as well. So trust me, I have opinions.
Okay. So it seems that there is some rumor that Vince McMahon could be looking to start a new promotion now that he's out. Now that he's out of WWE, and of course, this is due to the lawsuits filed against him. He's been trying to get these into private arbitration so it stays out of the public eye and he can handle things behind closed doors. I don't think it has happened yet, but a new promotion by Vincent Kennedy McMahon to compete with wrestling. I mean, do you think that this is real? And what could it mean for the wrestling landscape?
You want me to go first?
No, yeah, you can definitely go first, and I'll play off of you.
Okay. All right. So what I've heard as well is that Vince has been in talks with Fox about this new promotion as well.
Hmm.
My thing is A, if anyone in Fox even thinks that the idea of a Vince McMahon ran company is a great idea, let them go get the Peacock subscription and get the WWE Network, which is what, $9.99 for what Triple H said a decade ago,
Hmm.
and go watch everything WWE produced from 2016 through the Thunderdome era before they came back. That was the biggest steaming pile of horse manure that was a joke to consider professional wrestling.
Well, I mean,
And at the same time, and what's Vince going to do? Is he going to bring, since he's got allegations, is he going to bring allegation wrestlers too? Is he going to bring guys in like Brock Lesnar, Velveteen Dream, even Alberto Del Rio? Anyone with an allegation has a
I
job with Vince McMahon.
I go through that later, but we might as well talk about it now. Yeah. I personally feel like I'm gonna have to move things around the script a little bit because I actually talk about this I think in a little while. Um, I mean, who are you gonna have? Marty Skrull, Jimmy Havoc, Joey Ryan, Velveteen Dream.
Ace, throw Ace Steel in there too. He'll bite someone.
But the thing is, I think that any show that is going to be written or produced by Vincent Kennedy McMahon will get views, will get watched. Um,
What
just
about
because it's Vince McMahon, I think people will watch, and then especially if you put a controversial booker in with controversial wrestlers, I mean, it'll be like a reality show. It'll be freaking hilarious. And people will turn in to watch it. I don't care what anybody says. You can hate all them guys as much as you want. People will tune in to watch Vincent McMahon put on a show with wrestlers with all sorts of controversy attached to them. People will watch.
But the dude is so out of touch that he needs to stay away from wrestling because if anyone with the last name McMahon is going to start a wrestling company, it should be Shane. Shane, I think, is more in touch with the current product because Vince wasn't. Vince like pushed so many good wrestlers aside because he wanted Brock or he wanted someone with no personality but looked the part. He was still stuck in the 80s steroid looking guys.
I mean, yeah, that's the land of the giants and stuff.
Look
So
at Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan got shoved aside because Randy remember, I love Randy Orton, but Daniel Bryan deserved the title back then, but Daniel Bryan was being pushed aside just because of his size. He was a cruiserweight in their eyes.
right. So with with all of this being in a rumor, rumor really doing the main part of that statement is that it is just a rumor. Nobody quite knows for sure what the reality of it is. However, there was a tweet. I don't know what you call X, what they put out on X no more, if they're still called twits or tweets now that it's not Twitter.
It's not Twitch.
Twits.
They
So
put X's out.
where they said where somebody some kind of an executive with a Fox insider says that they can't say for sure whether or not Vince McMahon has plans to launch a promotion and whether he wants it to do with Fox or not, but that a spokesman from Fox said, we have no idea what this is about. So it might, like I said, might just all be a rumor. It'd be pretty funny to think about, though.
But
Okay.
if Vince shows up without that goofy little mustache that he had, I'm not watching.
It
I
was
want
funny
the
to even
Sonic
see him with a
villain
mustache.
mustache.
It was so funny to
He looks
even,
like the villain from Sonic.
yeah. I mean, he always said he can't let the beard win. That's why he shaved every day or twice a day or something, because he couldn't lose to his beard.
And then he grew whatever that
Yeah, he was a
was.
weird guy, and so
And the Just for Men. Don't forget all the Just for Men he used.
okay. Okay, and especially right now with wrestling being at the heights it is. I mean, WWE main roster, as we discussed earlier, been as big as it's ever been, making more money than it ever has. Worldwide attention, Netflix. I mean, it's just huge. It's the biggest thing going, and I don't care what anybody says. WWE is the biggest thing out there. Okay, AEW has been starting to get traction a little bit and climb in the ratings a little more. They have a couple good storylines. The Hurt Syndicate, the Death Riders storyline started off good, but I guess that's when, as we were just discussing, Shane was in talks with Tony Khan. But apparently, those talks have come to an end, and Shane has backed
Oh, he
away.
got ghosted.
Right, and Shane has backed away completely. So now the Death Rider storyline is just there. You know what I mean? What? Because now I think the Death Riders were supposed to align with Shane, but now that Shane's not there, you just got John Moxley and his crew. There's
Yeah, because wasn't Moxley going around saying how there's a new man in charge? They're changing AEW. It's
right,
like they were doing an invasion. So who
yeah,
was going to lead the invasion? Moxley was contracted. So you need someone to come from the outside.
right. No, I mean that's definitely where it was headed. I mean, we don't know that for sure. Nobody's made it officially known, but that's definitely what the storyline would suggest they were headed. But now with Shane out, and now you got the Death Riders who were supposed to be like this group that take over, and now their storyline has kind of come to a block. I mean, you either got like one of two things to do with them. You either make them, turn on each other from the inside out. That way, everybody goes their separate ways, or you really make them take over. You make them get all the gold, make them be the powerhouse that they were meant to be without Shane, but let them get all the gold. Let them have the three-way, the tag titles, the women's, the men's. Let them have all the gold so that this AEW versus Death Riders storyline makes sense again. Because now all the AEW's, performers will have to fight to take back what's theirs. You know what I mean?
Now there's something that I heard a little bit as a rumor. Also, again, rumors are just like the Vince thing. It could be just talk.
Mm-hmm.
But there's talk that, from what I've heard, is like Moxley losing to Edge, Copeland, whatever he goes by now,
Right.
Blade, the guy formerly known as Edge. Edge beats him, and then when he loses, Claudio turns on Moxley, and then like he takes over the Death Riders, and they go in a whole different direction.
No, I mean,
What
could be.
I
That's a good
think should
story.
happen what I think should happen, and we all know it's never going to happen because, I live in the land of make believe sometimes. But the
It's
next pay
kayfabe.
per view that they have, next time they have a pay per view, have the Death Riders wipe out half the roster, and then a masked man in a hood comes out. And then they say, "This is our leader." And when they remove the hood, it's Vince McMahon going, "It was me, Tony. It was me all along."
Yeah, that definitely don't see
That
that
would
happening. I
happen,
mean, it
but
would make a good
that would be a
story, but
pipe
it never
dream.
happened. So
It'd blow
AEW,
up the internet.
right? So WWE's as big as it's ever been. AEW starting to get traction. TNA is getting quite a bit of attention because of their merger, their little deal that they have going on with NXT. This week in NXT, we saw the Hardy Boys compete, and they're going to compete on an NXT product for their TNA championships. I mean, it's just the wrestling landscape right now is beautiful. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. Um, okay, but from what I'm heard around is that NXT is putting out the best product. I don't watch NXT religiously. I see clips. I don't watch every week. I don't watch the full show. Uh, but it is when I looked today at the roster and I seen other people who have uh, have titles, especially their women's division is particularly stacked right now. Julia and Stephanie Vakar were two of the most wanted indie wrestlers in the world. Like, the best from Japan and the best from Mexico. And they were just really sought over, and they both signed with WWE and made it to NXT. Now Julia is the NXT Women's Champion, and Stephanie is the Women's North American Champion. Uh, that's that's a rough leaderboard right there. You got the best at the top, and then you got other groups like Toxic Attraction. They just signed Jordan Grace from TNA, and she's there now. You got Cora Jade. I mean, and oh man, I can't. What they got that Russian chick that just fought for the championship? I can't think of her name. Uh, oh man, I'm sorry guys. I brain fire. I can't remember the names, and I didn't have that one written down. But their women's division is really amazing, and I mean, even the main roster's women's division. I mean, everything is good, but TNA is putting out an amazing product at the moment. Um, uh, I'm sorry, did I say TNA? NXT. NXT is putting out an amazing product. I mean, especially as we were just talking about, they throw all sorts of the TNA stuff in the show. The championships, the Hardys had a title match. Um, and when they were advertised for their title match, and when they came out, what a huge pop, right? I mean,
Oh, it was a good pop.
it was a big pop. But as you and I were talking about earlier, I found it absolutely hilarious when Santino came out, TNA's DOA, and the pop for him and the excitement for him was crazy. I mean, they went wild for Santino. It was nuts.
But I truly believe that if they would have kept the Hardys' appearance quiet, the Hardys' pop would have been way louder than Santino's. People didn't know Santino was going to show up, and Santino, regardless of how goofy of his character, he was the R-Truth of back then. But he was the most over guy in the world, especially when he would mispronounce everyone's name, like John Cena.
He still does. He calls the Hardy Boys the Hard Boys, and I can't remember what he said about Fraxium. But that's what he's came out. He's like, if you two want the title championship with the Hard Boys, yeah. He's good,
I
man.
love
He's
Santino.
he's just a great presence. Okay. So now on top of everything that I just said, imagine throwing in a new promotion with Vincent Kennedy McMahon as the booker. I mean, gosh, we've got so much already.
I think it would be hard for that wrestling company to like gather any traction because WWE alone produces without PLEs 10 hours of product a week. And then you got what, an hour or two of TNA and then 3 hours of AEW. There's way too much wrestling that people aren't going to be like, oh, this is new. Let me watch this. Unless unless
People
your
are already
favorites happen
exhausted
to
with
stop.
wrestling content, and then we got to put out videos
The,
like
po-
this to make people watch.
the podcast I listen to, they even say it. They're like, we have too much wrestling, and they only go over like Raw and SmackDown on the main show, and they go over like NXT and AEW, and they do like old school episodes. But they're like the new ones. There's way too much new episodes of wrestling that no one's gonna watch the new Vince one unless like your favorite favorites are there, or they just love controversy.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
Controversy creates cash.
yeah, it definitely does. I say that all the time around the house. So a couple more things before we get into our predictions competition that will determine the first VK Pump Championship. The face-off that has now become a triple threat and maybe a fatal four-way if Enzo gives his predictions. Okay. Kind of on the topic of NXT. Ricky Starks, now named Ricky Saint, makes his NXT debut. Gets chants of Tony fumbled or Tony effed up, and seems to be making waves already and be exceedingly over, even though he just made his in-ring debut.
Oh,
Any
I thought you
opinion?
were gonna still go. I thought you were still gonna go about old Ricky. But with Ricky, honestly, he was a top name for a while. He's got the talent. I ripped on him on calling him a great value version of The Rock, saying that when he was in AEW, to stop being Ricky Starks, he should just call himself The Rick. Because I mean, he dressed like late '90s Rock.
He's got charisma.
My thing, but the thing is, it's like he had like he was on a rocket ship in AEW, and I truly feel that Adam Copeland derailed that when he called him a cheap knockoff of The Rock and pretty much
Called
put
him a
him in his
vanilla
place.
midget.
Yeah, and the
Bless
next
you.
thing you know, Ricky Starks disappears from TV and he's gone. So I think that
Yeah.
Ricky Saints, which I think they should get rid of the S, just be Ricky Saints. That sounds better than Ricky Saints, but I think for him, he should go around and play the role of like the scorned ex-employee, like not saying where he worked, not name dropping anything, but just saying I've been messed with my whole career. I've been held down my whole career. Pretty much saying I want the top spot because I've been held down for too long. Give him that rough baby face, like Triple H in the mid 2000s, where he acted like a heel, but the crowd loved him. Give him that type of a role.
Right.
In NXT, he can succeed. Main roster, he wouldn't yet.
Well, let's talk about that being something. He's got to go to heel eventually, right? We've never seen like a Ricky Starks baby face, and he plays that heel role. He heals it up so well.
No, I'm saying give him that rougher baby face, like I said, like how Triple H used to be in after he stopped being the villain Triple H, and he was like the anti-hero where
Yeah,
he
like
still
Stone Cold
did
Steve
heelish
Austin, the
tendencies.
anti-hero.
Exactly.
Right.
He still does the heelish things where he'll still use chair shots and low blows, but he's beating the guys you're supposed to hate. Like have Ricky go against, let's say, Dominic Mysterio and low blow him for a victory. The crowd would love him, but yet he won with heel tactics. So that way, when he converts into a heel, you'll know when he turns heel when he starts trashing the crowd.
Right. I think
which I can't wait to hear that.
I think that's definitely a good storyline to watch. NXT has me really wanting to pull stuff together. That way I could do NXT videos too, because I want to watch NXT, and I'm so busy with everything else that I can't even watch it yet. I'll make a video for it. So one more thing before we get into our competition contest. WWE main roster, this Monday Night Raw, the main event, tag team match, women's tag team championships, Naomi and Bianca versus Liv Morgan and Raquel. What an incredible match put on by these four ladies.
It was a good match, and I wouldn't give it incredible, but I wouldn't say it was just an average match. It was a very good match. Them Bianca and Naomi losing the belts makes sense because I'll say the rest of them in my predictions because it's going to bleed into that. But I truly feel that the breakup between Bianca and Naomi's coming, so them losing the belts practically solidified that something's going to happen in the chamber.
I mean, yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, I definitely have been calling for a Naomi and Bianca breakup for a little minute now. I thought it was going to happen at the Elimination Chamber as they were both involved as the tag team champions, and they were probably going to have to face each other, and it was going to lead into the rift that starts to split them apart. But I think the unintentional kick that happened during the main event is going to be the rift. I think, them losing the titles, the fact that Bianca accidentally kicked Naomi, I think that's where it's going to start. I think it's going to kind of build in the Elimination Chamber and, of course, probably pay off later down the line, WrestleMania maybe. Okay, so next, we're actually going to get into Okay, so now we're gonna get into our championship match for the first ever title of VK Punk Championship. We do not yet have our physical title, which we commissioned. It's in production. We will get it at some point. Once again, thanks to Capco Championship Belts for making that to us, for us. But in the interim, we'll just use one of the other titles we have. I have the kids title and the women's title here. I don't have any men's title. I also have Jay Briscoe's Ring of Honor World Championship and a fully stacked IWGP World Heavyweight Championship
And
that is
you're
really
seeing the
amazing.
shirt too, right?
Yeah, I do. I was wearing my Jay Briscoe Memorial one, the one they sold after he passed away, like
I,
last video or 2 videos ago.
it was between this one, my Punk shirt, and then my Bret Hart shirt, but the logo was only like that small on it, so you wouldn't even see. It's an awesome shirt, though.
All right. So, in the meantime, if one of us wins the championship, here at the studio, we will wear one of the championships around. If Havok here wins, we'll put something on the wall, a little like dummy or something with the name Havok across
Hold
it.
on. What do you mean if I
Yeah.
win?
Oh.
If
I liked how you said that.
if can you stop being a mark? It's when I win.
Oh, okay, when you
When
win,
I
then.
get draped with that gold.
We'll have to see. You have quite a few people to connect with. It'd be funny if Enzo wins. All right, so are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. So first we're going to talk about the women's tag team match between Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. This comes off the back of a random Trish appearance and save a couple weeks back, where she helped Tiffany Stratton, who was getting jumped by Nia and Candice. She tried to do this again last week, but was cut out really, like, didn't get anything for her troubles, just kind of got sent to the mat. And Tiffany and Trish both got annihilated kind of badly by Nia. Trish seems to be in this match because she's Canadian. You know, I don't see why bring her back except for Elimination Chamber is going to be in Toronto. What do you think?
Well, that thing is a nostalgia factor. Like you always bring back, like if they were in Montreal, they would have had Bret Hart come out. I think that it's just I
He
think
still
it's
might
since
come
they're in
out.
Toronto. I'm saying since it's in Toronto and Trish is from Toronto, I think it's one of those they want the hometown pop.
Right. I mean, it might be a kind of big pot. Okay. I mean, you never do know. I mean, she could get a big pop. She just could get a regular pop. She's gonna get a pop regardless. You know, it'll be good to see. I like Trish when she came back previously and did the stuff with was it Tiffany or was it Becky?
It was Becky.
Yeah, good stuff, man. So
Because that's when Becky reminded everyone about Trish doing the walking on all fours and barking like a dog, where she ended it with woof woof with the B word at the end of it.
All right. Okay. So
That was a good feud.
who you got to win this match? Trish and Tiffany or Nia and Candice?
I got Trish and Tiffany going over, and I say it's going to be Trish Stratus that pins Candice. That way, it protects Nia, doesn't make her look weak in a loss, and it gives Trish the hometown pinfall.
Right. I mean, that sounds pretty likely. So I am actually gonna oppose you here. I think Nia Jax and Candice LeRae win. I think Trish Stratus is in her hometown, but as we know, WWE has a little rule about not winning in your hometown. But I also feel like this is gonna build Nia up a little bit more for when she is ultimately gonna take a stab back at the title. I think Nia's gonna win, and she's probably gonna beat Trish. Tiffany probably will not take the pin.
No,
Look, dude, you can't kick the table.
I'm trying not.
I just think that Candice LeRae and Nia Jax will win. If I have to go over KC's, she says that she is going for Tiffany and Trish. She's just for 'em. She can't stand Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. And who do you think's gonna
Same.
win?
I think it's. Wait,
Are you gonna say it's Tiffy time? That's probably who you want to win, right?
wait, how?
It's Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae.
Tiffy?
Yeah, you want to say it's Tiffy time like you do?
It's Tiffy.
It's Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time.
He says it all the time, man. It's pretty funny.
I hope it's Tiffy.
All right, so there's
I hope Tiffy wins.
mhm.
I want to get the. I want to wear my champion.
Oh, so you hope you win, so that you can wear your championship on air.
Hey, read yours.
All right, so so that one's in the can. Next we have the unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This is such a story. Of course, WWE has taken it way back to the origin of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. It goes from Toronto to Toronto. And of course, this was after Sami Zayn appeared to be on Kevin Owens' side during his ladder match with Cody. Cody set him up for the Alabama Slam on the ladder, and apparently Sami just didn't stop him, and that makes him a bad guy because he didn't interfere in the match so that Kevin Owens wouldn't get hurt. Kevin Owens comes out the next day, well, the next Raw, and gives Sami the package pile driver. He's not medically cleared. We get weeks of back and forth creepy and weird promo segments. Kevin outside Sami's house. Sami going to Kevin's mother's house. Ending with Sami ending the last promo we had saying it's going to be war, our worst one yet. Also feel like this match is also such a premiere because they're both Canadians who came out of Toronto.
Well, I think Sammy's from Montreal, but
Yeah, but I think what the story they're saying is that their wrestling careers started in Toronto.
I don't remember where it did, but it was definitely in Canada for sure.
Right. So, I mean, any opinions on the story? You got anything to discuss about the match itself?
I'm just hoping that it's the war that they say it's going to be, because if we go and they give us the Kevin Steen versus El Generico style match, that will be match of the night. I don't care
Hands
if
down.
Eddie Guerrero comes back from the grave, it will not top a Kevin Steen El Generico style match.
Right.
But if they give us like a watered down, like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn style match, it'll still be one of the best matches of the night. Because those two alone have the chemistry to put out a banger of a match.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. They are known for putting out amazing matches. Of course, you know they're best friends. They grew up together. That's the whole story. Is they came out of Toronto, and the truth is they really are best friends, despite what's going on in kayfabe. So you know they're gonna throw each other around and really ragdoll each other and make it look good. I definitely see it being an amazing match. So why don't you tell me about who you think is gonna take it?
I think that KO ends up taking it. And I think that after the match, he ends up losing it some more and completely starts destroying Sami, gets ready to do another package pile driver. And then we hear the loudspeaker go off and we get told that we hear voices in our heads. And I think Randy comes back and comes after KO and saves Sami from another package pile driver. But I think KO takes it. And it's going to lead to the match with Randy.
Huh. I mean, that's a storyline that I haven't even thought of yet.
KO put Randy Orton out of commission with that pile driver. Randy's going to want revenge.
Right. And I mean, so what do you think about if Randy Orton is going to come out regardless? Maybe he comes out before the end of the match and causes the distraction that allows Sami to win.
I still pick Kevin Owens to win, but even if, let's say, Sami wins, I still think Kevin goes on a complete, like, just loses it and goes complete like, well, I don't want to say that word, but he's going to go completely crazy on Sammy, put him through some tables, chair shots. He's going to go for a package pile driver, and that's when I think Randy comes back. Like he comes back while Orton or while Owens is decimating Sammy after the match. Like Sammy's going to be pretty much begging for him to stop, and that's when Randy comes out because they want it's WWE. They're all about the dramatics.
Right. Okay. So, what do you think, Enzo? You think it's going to be KO or Sami Zayn? Who's going to win that match?
Yeah.
Sami Zayn?
Yeah.
All right. Enzo's voting for Sami Zayn. Let's see what Casey's pick was. She says the unsanctioned match. I think KO will come out on top because he's the bad guy.
Hey, yo, he's the bad guy.
The match will be brutal. They both will really give each other hell just because of all the feelings and history involved with these two longtime friends. I'm rooting for Sammy, but I think Kevin Owens will take it unless Randy Orton somehow miraculously comes back up. She sent this to me before we even started talking. It's crazy that even she thinks Randy Orton's going to come back.
And this was my predictions, and I even had somewhere in there about Randy showing up. Like, and I made mine around 8 o'clock my time, so it was like 9 o'clock your guys' time.
Right. Okay. Well, with Enzo being the only one going a different route there, I also think that Kevin Owens is going to win this match. I think I never thought about the Randy Orton return right now because I feel like this match has so much emotion in it that it really doesn't need a return. I just think it's gonna be brutal, and for one reason or another, I think KO will win. I think the plot crutch they have with Sami Zayn being hurt is gonna play a lot into it. Probably get a pile driver that plays off with them throwing the match away somehow, or I mean, I know it's an unsanctioned match and there's no rules and what have you, but I just don't know. I see it going a lot of ways, but either way, I see Kevin Owens winning. Okay. So we have 2 chamber matches, right? On the women's side, we have Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Bayley, and Roxanne Perez. Not a bunch of story here, as the chamber is more of a plot point than a payoff. Okay. So let's get into a couple of questions here for the women's EC before we get to predicting the winner.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's my final answer. Can you? Okay. So which 2 women will start the match?
I believe that it'll be the two that'll start will be Bayley and Roxanne, just to continue on that little mini feud that they had just what was a month or 2 ago.
I'm sorry, who'd you say?
Where Bayley went to NXT. Bayley and Roxanne starting.
Okay.
To continue on because they had those couple of matches in NXT and it was pretty competitive. So I think those 2 will start.
Right. Okay. What Casey says is that she thinks Bianca and Bayley will start the EC match because they're strong, seasoned competitors that have stamina. She just thinks they'll be the ones who will be able to have the most gas, pretty much. Okay. Enzo. So who do you think is going to start the match? There's 2 people. There's Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Bianca, Bayley, and Roxanne. Which 2 do you think will start the match?
I think.
That's okay. Just
wait.
You have to pick 2 of those names. Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Bianca, Bayley, and Roxanne.
Roxanne Press.
Okay.
And Alexa Bliss.
Okay, Roxanne Perez and Alexa Bliss. Good choices, man. Good choices. Sit back down. It's like I said, it's gonna be so funny if he wins the competition, man.
I would hilariously laugh.
Calm down. All right. So what I'm gonna say is more of what I would like to see than what I would actually think happen. I think you make Naomi and Bianca start the match. It's just hats pulled out. You know what I mean? Or names pulled out of a hat. Um, Naomi and Bianca. They are going to start the match. It's going to continue to open up this rift. I think that's going to happen. What I would like to see happen is Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan in from the beginning.
I'm trying
Okay,
not to get too hyper.
Okay, well, we're almost done here, man. Just keep it cool for a couple more minutes. All right. The men's elimination. Or wait, did I go over who she thought would win it?
No, we just did the first two, the start two. We didn't do the final two and the
yeah,
winner.
yeah. Okay, so who do you think will be the last two in the match?
Can I go first?
Well, funny enough, I think the final two are going to be Bianca and Bailey. I
Okay.
think that Bianca's going to end up eliminating Naomi, and that's where we start seeing the heel turn. I think Bianca wins, goes over Bailey, and then eventually that's when we find out she's the one that took out Jade, leading to Jade versus Bianca.
Okay.
I think
so,
Jade's the one. Jade got taken out by Bianca, but I think Bianca goes over Bailey. Bailey survives the whole way, but loses at the end.
Okay, so your choice is Bailey and Bianca.
Are the final two? Yes.
Okay.
Can I pick mine?
Yeah, the same names, buddy.
Alexa and
Alexa, huh?
Alexa and
It seems so.
Which ones are the boys?
There's no boys in this match. This is all girls. Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Bianca, Bailey, and Roxanne. Who do you think will be the last two? Alexa and who?
Alexa and Naomi.
Okay. Well, that's who
No,
we picked.
no, wait.
Enzo.
Yeah, Naomi.
Okay. Casey says that she thinks the last two in will be Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss. She thinks it would. Oh wait, hold on. I'm having a hard time reading because she goes from the next question into this one. Would love to see Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss be the last two, but I think it will really be Bianca and Naomi because they are due for a split, and that way Naomi can turn heel and be revealed as Jade's attacker.
Wait.
No.
It's one of the two.
Wait, can I just pick one more choice?
What? We still have two more questions.
I think the first one I was wrong, so I'm still having Naomi, but I would like to change my first one. I said Naomi and Liv.
Okay, so you think the last two will be Naomi and Liv? Okay, cool. So, okay, who will be the first one eliminated? You want to go first? Who's going to be the first one eliminated?
I think it's gonna be Hornets.
Who? Roxanne Perez?
Yeah.
Okay, so she thinks Roxanne Perez, and apparently Casey agrees with him just because she thinks that she really doesn't have any business being in this match in the first place.
Well, make it a three-peat.
Yeah, Roxanne Perez. I just
She's the greener of the bunch.
Right. I think she has to go through a little bit before she goes. So, your ultimate pick over the winner of the Elimination Chamber was Bianca?
Bianca. Yep.
Okay, so you had Naomi and Roxanne as you.
No. Naomi and Liv.
Okay, so you have Naomi and Liv as your final two. Which one of them wins?
I think it's gonna be Naomi. Because that's Casey, my classmate. Casey's my classmate's girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
That's why I picked her.
I'm trying to just because. Casey says that she thinks Alexa Bliss and Morgan should be the last two, but she doesn't really say who she thinks is going to win, I don't think.
The blonde one.
Yeah, she doesn't have that. Maybe she didn't understand. That's okay. So what I'll do is I'll get her answer from her, and I'll make a note of it, and we'll just go from there. She will still be part of that question. Okay. So the men's elimination chamber is next, of course. Also, not a lot of story because it's just a plot point. The only thing going really is the beef between Logan Paul and CM Punk. But also in the match are Damian Priest, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. First things first, will CM Punk eliminate Logan Paul as he said he would?
I don't think he will. I think somebody else will.
Oh, did I give my answer to who I would think would win the women's elimination chamber? I didn't. I think it's going to be Alexa Bliss. Plain and simple, she's the only one who makes sense to win. Naomi and Bianca are going to have their storyline to go to, so they're not going to really need this storyline. Alexa came back under a new contract, so she probably has all these perks stacked at the front end of her contract, so she's probably winning. And of course, her throwing in with the Wyatt Six, I think you're going to get some weird voodoo stuff in the pods. Like Alexa's either going to look back in the pod and see like the old Fiend version of herself standing there, or maybe they could do the Nikki cross projection in the pod like they did that one time. It looked like she was.
Or the hologram.
Yeah. And I just something like that. And I think she wins. I think she has the most to do here. She's been gone for a while. Like I said, Naomi and Bianca are going to have their storyline. Liv Morgan and Bailey just had title runs in the last year. And Roxanne Perez is just weird being here. So I think it's Alexa Bliss.
But would you really want to do a face-face WrestleMania? Because no matter what you do, Rhea's going to be a face, and so will Alexa. You need a heel in that match.
Ooh, you know what? I really wasn't thinking that far down the line, because if you take Alexa to Mania, you're really not going to want her to lose, but you don't want Rhea to lose either. You know, I think Alexa will still win, and if she goes to WrestleMania, I think there's a good chance she might win, and you make Rhea chase it back down, because she actually does play that chase role good.
Yeah, because she gets sadistic when she wants what she wants. Daddy likes.
Yeah. All right, so back to the men's chamber where we started just before. Will CM Punk eliminate Logan Paul? What was your answer? No?
No, I said somebody else will.
All right.
You want to know who it is, or?
I think he will. Casey definitely thinks that he will. So I'm just going to go over what Casey says about the entire men's EC match. She thinks they will put in Logan Paul first. Because his whiny ass needs to be made to look strong. That being said, CM Punk will make the first elimination after all the guys are in, beating Logan Paul. The last two men standing will be Punk and Seth Rollins. I just think that's how the story gets rolling. Once again, she did not predict a winner for this match. I don't know that I made the directions on her note clear enough. So it looks like she read it for what it was, and I didn't make it clear enough. So she does think Logan Paul will be eliminated by CM Punk. I do think that. Do you think CM Punk is going to eliminate Logan Paul? Yes or no? No. Okay, so
wait, is Logan Paul
my man?
We haven't picked any of that yet. Just will CM Punk eliminate Logan Paul? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. The two men that the two men that you think will start the match, of course. Casey thinks it's Logan Paul and somebody else. I'll have to clarify her answers when we're not on air and get them uploaded, so that her point sheet will be accurate.
Oh, I think she messed it up. She doesn't deserve points for this.
Oh no, she's fine. I mean, like I
Give
said,
her the
I just wrote
handicap. Make it
men's
a
EC
handicap
match
match.
and then the questions. I didn't necessarily ask for a prediction for the winner under it. So let's go with you. Can you see the names? Logan Paul, CM Punk, Damian Priest, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. Which two do you think will start the match?
John? No. Seth Rollins
Seth Rollins
and MC Punk.
and Vince Punk. Or CM Punk. Look, you got me saying it wrong because it's my name. And CM Punk. Okay, so good. And as we said, Casey thinks Logan Paul will start the match. I'm going to go ahead. And I think that CM Punk is not going to start the match, and neither is John Cena.
What?
Logan Paul, I think you want to bring out a little
I
bit.
said no John Cena.
Right.
I said.
I know who you said. I'm talking about my picks now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. So I think it'll actually be Seth Rollins and Drew, or Seth Rollins. Let's see. I'm gonna say Seth Rollins and Damian Priest. I think these are two guys that are definitely not gonna win the match. So I think you put them in first. Let them get. Seth has has a good move set. Let him get all of the stuff out of the way, and Damian Priest as well before they get eliminated eventually. So, out of all those guys, who do you, or you still got to go? You go.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. I think that it'll be Damian Priest and Drew that start the match.
Yeah, I mean, those were the three I had, were Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, and Drew. I think it's definitely going to be
No. It's
three.
not Drew. It's Drew. Drew McIntyre. Drew.
But I just went the other way with it. So, what do you think about the first to be eliminated?
First to be eliminated, I think Logan Paul will be the first one out.
All right. You said Logan Paul?
Yep.
Yeah, that's Casey has that pick as well. She thinks Logan Paul will be the first man out. Who do you think is going to be the first man out, Enzo?
Logan Paul.
He's going to go with Logan
My
Paul
guy.
too. I think, unfortunately, Damian Priest is going to be the first to go. I think he has the least of anything in the match at the moment. Like you were trying to say earlier, why they gave him such a push and why they shoved him down our throat. Well, the fact is he's now in the main event picture, but he's not getting a title run. He's not John Cena, CM Punk. Even Logan Paul has a little bit of hype behind him, even though CM Punk is going to get him out of the match pretty early. And Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, I just see Damian Priest with nowhere else to really go, so I don't know why I'm equating that to being the first eliminated, but I am for some reason.
There's a rumor that apparently Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest are supposed to have a match at WrestleMania, so I feel that whoever eliminates the other is what's going to cause that rift into you screwed me from Elimination Chamber, I want you at WrestleMania.
All right, so did we ask you who you thought the final two would be?
No. Final two, I think, will be old CM Punk and Mr. Juan Cena.
CM Punk and John Cena. So who do you think the last two are going to be?
Wait. John Cena and Seth Rollins.
And Seth Rollins?
Yeah.
Okay.
CM Rollins.
No, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins or CM Punk? Who are you talking about?
CM.
Okay, so CM Punk and John Cena. And then that's what you said, right?
Yep.
All right.
He's gonna get a
You
good
said
gift
that
from me
too?
one day, that's for sure.
All right.
Yes,
so
I
Casey
did.
picks CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I am going to have to go with that. It's going to come down to
Me,
I
him,
think
you.
okay. I think that the way to best do this with the whole CM Punk thing, I don't think John Cena wins this match. So I'm going to say CM Punk manages to get to the end of the match with Logan Paul, and then he destroys him from there, and CM Punk wins. And who do you think is going to win between CM Punk and John Cena?
John Cena. Hey guys.
Okay. And who do you think is going to win,
Wait.
pal? Wait, what do you mean wait? No, ain't
I gotta
nobody
go
waiting.
somewhere.
Okay, well, if you go out of the studio, you got to stay out there.
Ah.
All right. I think that Cena goes over Punk, and so he stamps his way into WrestleMania. Because don't forget, CM Punk has that favor from Paul Heyman that he's owed. And when Solo took over the Bloodline, he destroyed the Roman cell phone that Paul Heyman used to call from. He never destroyed the Rock one.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't the Rock say on Monday or on Friday Night SmackDown that he's the final boss?
Yeah.
CM Punk tells Paul, I need my favor. The favor being, hey, Rock, get me in the WrestleMania. It'll be a triple threat, Cody versus Cena versus CM Punk. And that's where we get corporate CM Punk. That's my prediction on that one.
That's pretty good. I also am going to pick CM Punk to win.
No, I picked Cena to win.
Oh, you pick Cena? Oh.
Cena's going to win, and Punk's going to use his favor to get into WrestleMania.
Okay. Yeah, no, okay. I see what you're saying. I am going to pick Punk to win then. Easy for me to say. I think it just makes the most sense. I mean, John Cena, if I've discussed this in one of the earlier videos, John Cena has too many last things to do, and if he wins here and goes to WrestleMania, you got to give him the championship there. But then he won't be eligible for the Money in the Bank match because he'll have the championship. I think you still got to put John Cena in the Money in the Bank match, as it will be his last Money in the Bank match. So you can't make him win here to go to possibly face the title unless you make him go to WrestleMania, lose his final WrestleMania match, which why would you do that? And then he goes to Money in the Bank to win the briefcase.
Well, I still think he comes out with the title at some point because there's talk that WWE's got a special one-off PLE that they're doing in, I want to say, November, called Ruthless Aggression. What was John Cena's first words ever on a microphone in WWE TV? That PLE sounds like they're catering it towards John Cena. So I feel that either he wins at WrestleMania and holds it till November and loses it there, or he ends up winning it there. But I still think Cena goes over Punk at the Chamber.
Well, I feel what you're saying, but hear this out as a different opinion, right? So CM Punk, or I'm sorry, John Cena, he either loses at WrestleMania after winning the Chamber, or loses at the Chamber and goes straight into the Money in the Bank. So now he has the Money in the Bank. They do that Ruthless Aggression pay-per-view or premium live event that I'm unaware of at the moment, but I'll do some digging into that. Even though you said it's going to be in November.
I think they said November, October is where I was hearing they were talking about.
Okay, so what you do is you get there with John Cena holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, and you make him cash in there, and then of course he'll only have a couple months left of his final year or the goodbye tour, whatever it is, and you make him retire as champion, leaving the champion open, because that would really put the stamp on what would make him the best champion since Ric Flair, because Ric Flair not only won the champion 16 times, but he lost it 16 times. You know what I mean?
At the same time, how many of those 16 championships were in WWE? I get the WCW records fall into like their records as well now too, like for world championships. But if you're carrying a belt that's called the WWE Heavyweight Championship, I feel that Ric Flair only won that title a handful of times. Like his 16 are collective. We're talking WCW, NWA, and anywhere else he's been at besides WWE.
Right. But what I mean, I understand all that. The point I'm trying to make is you make Cena win the title a couple times or a couple months before he retires for good, right? You make him maybe defend it a couple times, and then at the end of the year, he's still the champion. Just make him give it up, and he'll be the guy who retired as champion.
Or what if here's another idea, because you know how WWE likes to swerve everybody. What if it is a triple threat? Cody turns down the sell your soul creepy vibe that Rock was saying, and Punk doesn't take it. What if we get corporate Cena at the end? I mean, Cena's always been a company man. What if he ends his career as corporate Cena?
Right.
Because we all know if Hollywood doesn't work, Cena will end up working in, it's not Titan Towers anymore, wherever WWE headquarters is. Cena will work for WWE afterwards.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, that's a good point. I don't want to speculate on Punk. I'd really rather see Punk just put over the young guys, really.
Honestly, as much as I would love to see Punk with the strap, he's at that point now where he should act like he's going to be competing for it, but he's putting over the young guys.
Right. All right. Well, with all the answers and all those points to tally, we should definitely come up with a clear winner and a decided, undisputed first ever VK Punk wrestling championship. This guy. All right. So before we close out, anything else you would like to say to our audience? It's I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get you back in a couple days for another video. But would you like to say anything to our audience?
That out of the two of us talking right now, I obviously have the way better hair.
So good, man. All right. So once again,
I got that Stone Cold vibe going.
Right. Well, you do with the little goatee and everything. Yeah. All right. So before
and the bald head.
Right. So before we go again, I just want to give a shout out to Capgo Championship belts. You can see them right here in this corner. All their information, their contact information, will be on our next screen as soon as we sign out. Of course, they make some very amazing apparel, flags, title belts, boots, rings. He made a Macho Man crown, like the old Macho King crown. He made one of those, and watching the production of that was really cool, man. So anyway, just contact him for all your wrestling merchandise needs. If you got the need to hold some gold, he's the guy to go to get it. Like I said, all that contact information will be on the next screen. But thank you for hanging out with us here at VK Punk Wrestling. Go ahead. And Enzo Amore would like to sign off too, is what he's saying.
No.
No? Well, you want to come here and sign off? Because this is it.
Wait, so you're signing off?
Yeah, we're stopping the video, man. Come on.
But then how are we going to know who's going to win?
Well, we have to wait till Saturday to know who's going to win.
But I'm not going to
All right, so say goodbye.
But I'm not going to be here on Saturday.
Enzo, say goodbye.
Bye.
Say have a good night.
Have a good night.
Okay. Thanks again for watching VK Punk Wrestling. Like I said, go like the video. Go subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get notified every time a new video goes live. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or X. All right. So once again, I'm Vince C. Punk. He's AK Havok. And thanks for sticking out with VK Punk Wrestling, because we the ones for wrestling content. All right.